very nice bounce on Bitcoin yesterday, but not without putting us under pressure on some of those altcoins. We're going to cover that dump yesterday. We're going to cover these altcoins. I've got some setups for you, possible breakouts, possible shorts coming. We're going to have a banger weekend, guys. And it's also Halloween. There, say hello to my little friend. Let's go. As always, hit that like, hit the bell, and hit the subscribe. And I've also got my other little friend there. There's a spider on the back there. And I've also got my other little friend over here. Look at him in his green shirt, looking
scary green shirt.
After a little bounce there, a little Halloween outfit there for us.
You know what? I didn't have to get dressed up for Halloween. If I want to be scared, I just look at my spot portfolio. Scares the fuck out of me every time.
There you go, guys. Halloween every day in crypto. Everyone's happy. Okay, well, that's looking good. Look, what else is green today? 𝗏𝗏𝗏's looking amazing. 𝗨𝗏𝗏 is absolutely throwing at the moment, moving into quite a big zone that it's either going to be a TP for a lot of you, possible short or possible rejection zone coming on that one later. Zcash, I don't know what to say anymore about the Zcash. It just doesn't stop now. It's absolutely cooking. But all around, guys, nice to have things nice and green. But let's actually deal with what went down yesterday, because there's generally a couple of scenarios, and one of the big ones that I was emphasizing yesterday was we saw Bitcoin, it wasn't quite on that 786 fib. And normally there's two options when we get to that type of level. That is when we are just above that 786 fib, we got the alts on corresponding support. Remember, those alts were on 786s. Now, what tends to happen sometimes is Bitcoin drops onto the 786 and dominance drops, and that gives the alts the spring off their corresponding supports. What we saw yesterday was the market wanted Bitcoin to hit that 786, but dominance kept spiking, so the alts just dropped one little dip lower, and then they had a reversal. But the conviction was there to hang on to those positions. So I was heavily underwater on that second drop, but we eventually pulled through at the end there with that slingshot off BTC. So I covered that in detail with the hackers community this morning in the Chart Hackers Discord. And look, it's very important lessons to note. And remember for next time, BTC loves a fib. It loves to tap these types of levels, and sometimes we get super close to them, and we sometimes we go in a little bit early, but you got to be patient on those zones. Monthly close will be volatile. Hey, yeah, this is the monthly close. It's also it's effectively we're nearly at the weekly close as well, so there's a lot going on here. Fuck aroundery or treat. I mean, basically, guys, so we're looking at shorts, we're looking at longs. I'm tickling around in a dupe possible breakout here. I'm literally tracking that VWAP as the bull zone, and we're going to see if we get a little breakout on this thing. So let's get into BTC. Let's first start with the drama from yesterday. Yeah, hash, what a banger, hey? Like perfect timing. I was actually saying to Dave, it's great on a Thursday. You're generally getting reversals on a Thursday and you're getting decisions. So the timing couldn't have been better to catch a couple of bounces there yesterday. So yeah, very nice for Dave. In terms of where we're sitting now, look at this. We had our drop into our 786 fib. We were talking about 106,200. And for those of you that aren't trading fibs, I just want to show you one more time and ask you one more time why it is not part of, or a little part of your trading strategy. Look at that thing, that 786 delivering once again for the market. Remember the rules with the 786. By the time it loses the 618, everybody gets bearish, everybody starts shorting, everyone thinks it's going lower, and everybody starts max shorting on support. And we see this time and time again. How many times have you seen me talk about a 786 bounce that we get out of these altcoins? Okay, so always a nice big move, and obviously BTC. So nice pumper. And now the question is there continuation or is there a rejection? So I have asked you guys in the chats here, let me know how you're feeling here. And we said BTC at resistance, and we got 54% saying more pumpy. We got 46% saying rejection. Let's ask Mr. Bullish, because you can't get any more bullish than that current poll. What happens next, sir?
I think a push, because everybody's trying to short this already. That's what I see everybody going. Shorts. Where's shorts? We're shorting. Let's short this. I think.
So I must double my position size in Bitcoin. Is that?
I think we get a squeeze. I think we get a squeezy weekend, maybe.
You sure you want to commit to that? Okay,
I'm going
to. Fine. James wants me to go more long. Okay, so you got 55% saying a little bit upside, 45%. So it's pretty flat. Okay, so keep the votes coming in here. I just want to see the sentiment from you guys. It's always a good guide to see in general what the community is thinking, and that often can guide us as to what comes next. So we might be adding to this BTC. I think if we start pushing this VWAP over here, James, positions. I'm going to just start adding to that long position, see if we can get a little bit more energy out of this one. Okay, now Mumo is talking bullish pullback. So let's discuss a couple of options here with BTC, and then we're going to move on to everything else. Now, you can see our first port of call here is our 382. It's 110,000 to 110,100. This is our resistance zone. You've also got your VWAP in play here at 111K. So you can see typical rejection zone here for BTC, and this is a perfect TP zone. I was clipping some profits earlier today after being heavily underwater yesterday, and just relieved to get into a zone like that where you can start cutting a little bit on the trade. So big rejection zone. If we do break through here, yes, it is going to get a little bit more exciting for us. We should see a nice strong push. We can use that 200-day MA as well as support going forward. So upside targets for me, 112,500, and then this absolute banger up here, guys. If we go here this weekend, 114K, it's round about where my short entry is, and it's another massive area to add to shorts or to look for new shorts on BTC. This is a 100-day MA, a 50-day MA. It's just a push through that undercarriage, and it's that 786 fib. So 114K, guys, is a beautiful zone here for me if there is more momentum in BTC. Now, let's talk about bullish pullbacks and let's talk about plans. So if you bearish, this is a typical short zone right here, and it's perfectly acceptable to be taking profits in these types of areas as well after a pump like that. So the bears, you are covered, and what you can do typically is you can have a stop for a close above 111,300. Just remember, if it pops up, your next resistance zone is that 112.5, and your next one is 114K. Now, if we start dropping down, the bulls, what you want to be focused on is this VWAP you see over here. You can see the 200-day moving average as well. And this is effectively our bull zone that we actually want to hold here. We want to hold this region. So it's 109,200. If we can hold this 109,200, or at the very least, you can use it as support, 109,200, then we might get a little push there to the upside. So if we get a little dip in the next hour or so, look for longs there, 109,200. It's pretty degen. And then your upside targets are the three that I've marked here above. Okay, so we are going to make sure these charts are in the Chart Hackers Discord for you guys directly after the show. You'll have access to all of that. And Brothers Nature Joe says long everything. I mean, God, do you think we should long everything at the moment?
I don't know that we should long everything yet. A bullish pullback would be nice, just to see some sort of little bullish pullback. Yeah, I'm not going to push any more buttons at the moment.
Okay, well, what we're going to do, I'm going to set my alarm here. Okay, I'm going to set my alarm. If this candle starts pushing through this VWAP, I'm gonna start adding a little bit more to BTC, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm covered at 109K is where I'm gonna start cutting. So this is my current story. Yesterday I was under severe pressure, and especially in Ethereum. Now Ethereum, I gave you guys the levels, and I managed to get this thing up to $91,000 in size, but it wasn't a fun couple of hours for me watching this thing go negative, whatever it was, 4,000 or whatever it was at the time. But obviously I was watching that 786 on BTC, and that was a big zone for us, and I wanted to see that area tapped before I made any irrational decisions. So fortunately it worked out this time, and obviously it allowed me to get this BTC finally back in the green. And then 𝗬𝗰, like yesterday you saw, I was opening 𝗬𝗰, I was opening Brett. I held on to all of these things and eventually survived. You can see Brett, I did cut a little bit, I'm negative 86 there, but overall now it's nice and green. So we did survive that pump trade from yesterday. Also, it is green now finally. So we basically got out of jail there on that little dump. And fortunately, old 786 coming in to rescue us again. Okay, so let's get into some of the news. And anyone know what's going on with S?
I'm assuming it went to zero?
Probably. Must have.
Just guessing,
okay.
But...
must have gone. It must have gone. Okay, if we got time, we'll look at it. So, guys, I got quite a bumper show here for you guys, so lock in. Okay, we got a couple of stocks. We're talking news on Netflix. There's a couple of tariff things at the moment. There's a couple of macro things going on. And then I've got so many alts. I'm talking about Dupe today. I'm talking about Pump. I'm talking about Hyperliquid. What else I've got here? I've got 𝗬𝗃. I've got this Pay AI that we looked at yesterday. Virtual, Brett. There's so much going down here. So lock in. And remember, there will be timestamps on this video as well. So you will be able to track where everything is. Okay, let's go. Let's get into the news. Let's see. How's your October there? Negative 3% at the moment. I think it's barring a monster pump here, I think we are going to actually finish October in the red. Okay, like let's see. If we get a hard pump here, maybe things can change a little bit, but right now I'm not holding my breath.
How much would price have to go up to make that positive anyway? I think it would.
Well,
I mean, I don't think we
where
can
did we
get there.
start the month? Where did we start the month? Let's just confirm where we started the month here. I mean, we had that horrible dump. Where was the beginning of October? Over here, 1st of October.
Price is
113. 114,
well,
the perfect
possible.
place to reject. Okay, the perfect place to reject. So it's just around the corner. In fact, it's a couple of percent away. So yeah, it's on the table. It is on the table. Let's look at a couple of lickies and see what's going on. 𝗵𝗆 today and fucktober. There's chart conflicts and $500 million. Guys, I must say, I've been doing this show for a very long time. And since the 10th of October, it's actually been like astounding to me, the levels of liquidations that we're seeing on a daily basis. I don't know where the liquidity keeps coming from.
The amount of money that's been extracted. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's pretty rough, guys. Another $500 million again, just on a Friday. Now, Bitcoin is down 6% this month, making it the first red October since 2018. Worst October in 11 years. Okay, good news is next October will be green, won't it, James? I mean, it must be. Surely it's going to be green next October.
Yeah, during the bear market, I'm sure.
It's going to be a lovely bear market. Okay, now, remember, guys, we got everything we wanted. Don't forget, we got a 25 basis points cut. We got Trump and Xi, they friends again. Okay, China buying soybeans. That's always good. China buying some soybeans always gets me horny. Tariff threat seems almost non-existent at the moment. And Solana and Hype ETFs. Well, Sol got their ETFs. And obviously, it's all going very well because we got everything we wanted. Okay, so that's going nicely. Hash says he's on his 15th pair of undies at the moment. Now, 𝗵𝗆, he's even capitulating. I mean, this guy is like the resident bear. This guy's like, he's got balls of steel. I mean, this man knows how to add margin to a losing position. And 𝗵𝗆 tweeted, sometimes we see bubbles, sometimes there's nothing to do about it, and sometimes the only winning move is not to play. So he's thrown his hands in the air.
Does that mean that he's out?
I think he's sitting out. He doesn't know what's coming next. I mean, and nobody actually does. This is the beauty of trading, and this is what makes the market for everything. So, I mean, he's literally, you've seen, guys, how many times I try to short the S&P, and that thing just kept on going. It's still grinding. I mean, I don't know when it ends. We at fear and greed is something at like 40. It's in fear in the stock market, and the stock market is at all-time highs. I don't have an explanation for that. And soybean premium.
Me too.
Premier liveaboards. Okay, Premier liveaboards. Okay, BlackRock just moved 3,000 BTC and 31,000 ETH to Coinbase. Okay, that was a couple of hours ago. Okay, so there
that'll
could
be their ETF outflows from yesterday. Maybe they're going to sell them off.
Some late selling for end of the day, close of the day, guys. A little sell off at month end. I mean. Yeah, let's see. Like, all I can say is, like, what I'm going to give you guys, these alts are at resistance now, okay? Like, you're going to see this all on some of these altcoins. Then there's little levels a little bit higher up. What I suggest here, including XRP, a great shortcoming for you guys. If we go a little bit higher here, hedge. Okay, short. Just make sure you guys are coming. Earnings season has been really good for stocks. That is true. Been terrible for crypto. Now, Trump tells the Pentagon to resume testing nuclear weapons. I mean, that's relatively bullish. And the most bullish thing on this article is this, whatever's going on at the top. Oh, no, it's gone now. Watches.
Oh, the bikinis, huh?
I had bikinis at the top here. I was like, that's the most bullish thing of the day. Now, okay, so they're going ahead, but I mean, obviously Russians are going to do the same.
Well, and I saw an article about that saying that, well, if Trump's going to do that, Russia's already made a statement saying that if they test, they're going to test. And now we've got a nuclear dick measuring contest going on. That can't be good.
Okay, that is inverse bullish. Now, apparently, they're going to strike Venezuela in a couple of hours here, or a couple of days. That could be an interesting weekend for us. Another reason, if you get a pump this weekend, maybe look for some good exit plays, because this not necessarily going to shake or destroy the markets, but it's definitely going to cause some kind of murmur if something happens there. Okay, and he's sending China news. Okay, and where we are, so this is the tariff news. Now, the 100% tariff on China is no longer live. We know about that. Okay, that was very nice. In addition, the US and China have reached a 1-year rare earths deal. So this is what I wanted to talk about. So there's some people saying it's not actually such a great deal, okay? And what Trump chalked up as a win for the global economy as the US was China's agreement to wait 1 year before implementing a sweeping regime of export controls for the minerals that are crucial in all kinds of industries. So is this another version of kicking the can down the road, and we can deal with it in the bear market?
I think so, partially, but also the fact that he signed that deal with Australia and has a huge agreement on rare earths from them too. That's what really changed the tone of China, because that was their bargaining chip all along, and that was a power move by him. Going, well, fine, we can get them elsewhere if you're not going to cooperate. And I think that's why things got so friendly. He did that literally as this happened, right? That wasn't a mistake that happened at that time.
And now they're friends again, shaking hands. Everyone's happy. Imagine what they say about each other, like behind closed doors. It must be a wonderful conversation. Okay, so
just imagine.
S&P a little bit red today, guys. The way this thing has been playing out, like, yeah, I just can't see how the people won't buy this thing up here. It will close that gap or something, 6,750, barring something major. That's your basic support there that the S&P should hold. Then obviously you got your 50-day MA as well. So there's a lot of levels here. I think if we do get a couple of weekdays on the S&P, it opens us up to quite a nice trade on BTCC for a long there. So we actually just need a move and let it dump, let it come down, and that'll give us something to work with here on BTCC. Now, breaking news, my Netflix long has finally turned green. It's like at break even. And is this a get out of jail free card on Netflix for me? So Netflix announces a 10-for-1 stock split. How's that?
That was nice to see, eh?
Right at the bottom there, where I thought I was going to get absolutely licked. This comes out last night. I was like, thought so. Told you so.
How nice when crypto was dumping to get this surprise amongst it. At least something was going the right way, eh?
So guys, yeah, there's Netflix. Maybe it's turned a corner, even temporarily, and maybe we are going to get a little bit of action. You can see there's quite a big gap here. I mean, look at this gap up here. So you could look at 1180. You could even push to like 1230 if there is some kind of move here on Netflix. So far it's come out of it's basically been saved. That's a get out of jail free card if there ever was one. And right now trying to reclaim that 200-day MA. So maybe we are okay. Let's see how that goes. So holding strong now for me on Netflix. Let's take a look. Coinbase earnings came out and strong Q3 for Coinbase. So that is interesting news, and they are still grinding. They are making tons of money and things are going relatively well. In terms of Coinbase, I just wanted to point out, like, you guys know how much time I talk about lately. I've been talking about these bull zones. That's a combination of 382.5 VWAP and some order blocks on these altcoins. And I just want to show you like how Coinbase even trades like these shit coins, like absolutely perfectly. Look at that VWAP 0.5. Look at the 200-day MA for good measure, and just look how this thing holds those types of zones. So very nice to see Coinbase trading exactly like a shit coin, and it's lovely, and they're making money and things are going nicely. So anyone trading Coinbase, if you are sitting in a long position, what you've got here is your 50-day MA, you've got your 100-day MA, and you can use that as your support now. 330. And if you close below that 330, guys, then just mark out 293 down to about 282. That is going to be your next bounce zone if it drops lower down. Okay, so you got your short-term degen support, and then 293 to 282 is going to be your next bounce zone. And Solana looking okay. All right, we'll take a look there at Sol as well in a sec. So yeah, nice to see Netflix is coming alive. And now this, you're seeing this all over X. I mean, literally everyone I know and everyone I see is dropping this chart. I don't even know who the original guy was that started dropping the chart, but everyone got on this bandwagon now about MicroStrategy leading BTC. And now this is Brett.eth or Brett ETH. And he's just basically showing us MicroStrategy is rolling over. The stock is selling off. Does Bitcoin come next? Probably a fair argument, guys. I mean, if we have to be totally objective here, yes, Microsoft did lead the pump previously, and maybe it is going to lead some kind of sell-off. Yes, sir.
Well, and I saw year to date, I think Bitcoin's up 16% and MicroStrategy's down 16%, just showing that it's not best to have that beta hold necessarily. You know what I mean? Going for the treasury deal to get into the stock instead. It hasn't paid off this time around anyway.
Yeah, I mean, look, maybe it's carrying also so much risk because they got so much. But again, I can't imagine what happens if there's pressure here on BTC at some point, especially with the ETH guys as well. But in terms of MicroStrategy, there are levels here, and I don't think it's the end of the world. This thing does and will bounce at appropriate zones and appropriate levels. So anyone trading this thing, I wouldn't panic, but like in terms of zones, like where do we get along? Like on the show, where are we going to get along? And for me, it's pretty simple. If we drop into 238, we're looking for longs here. We'll play the bounce. Okay, you most likely find like that gives you a nice move. Then look at this monster zone here, 786 sitting at 195. Like that is a nice area for MicroStrategy. If we come down and we hit this at any point, guys, you're probably going to find Bitcoin pretty dark, pretty bleak. I mean, it's probably going to be well below 100, but that'll be a nice bounce zone, 195 into about 180 for MicroStrategy. So again, just let it play out. You can see I've just set my alarm here. If we drop into there at some point, we will get notified as to what is going on. Now let's check out BTC on the higher time frame, and you can see like the tight range. Okay, this is the 3-day we're watching. Look at this, we're in a super tight range here. You could argue 106 to 115, and we just play this range. At some point this range breaks one of these directions, and then we play it accordingly. Right now it's difficult to speculate exactly what happens next. We are so news driven at the moment there, and basically, you know, it's for me, like I'm really just focused on these key levels, this type of range here. There's a lot of debate going on, and we covered this in the hackers earlier this morning as well. Like, is the bull market over? And I was saying, like, does it actually matter? If you watching the show, you probably are some form of long-term investor, but you're probably leaning into leverage trading. You're probably looking for daily trades, maybe a couple of weekly moves, things like that. And like that doesn't actually really matter come into play, bull market or bear market. It actually has no no regard. I don't have any regard for that, because in a bear market we can get some beautiful pumps on Bitcoin and the altcoins. We can also get some beautiful rejections, and there'll be trades long and short all day long anyway. And if we're trading over a daily time frames, it doesn't actually matter. So don't lie in bed and worry too much. James, do you lie in bed at 3 in the morning and wonder if the bull market's over, or do you just wonder if we're going to get pumped?
It's usually 2 a.m., not 3. So the problem is anybody that gives a shit one way or the other, it's because they have a large spot bag. If you don't have a spot bag, you don't give a shit. You know what I mean? And the smart people have already gotten out of the spot bags. Everybody else is so underwater. I can't sell now. What if it pumps and it's in the loss? I'll realize the loss, and the loss has just gotten worse and worse and worse. Should have sold off the spot bags a long time ago.
When exit, basically. I mean, those are the questions. But for us leverage traders and stuff, guys, this is what we do. We just play these things daily. Look at this. There was a beautiful bounce yesterday. You might find a nice short right here, right now, and things could roll over nicely here. If you get your bullish pullback, there's another possible trade coming. And yeah, exactly. So Slothman says traders don't regard the season. And yeah, like if you heavily invested in like fucking meme coins from a year ago, and you're sitting in like all these other whatever plays they were, yeah, I mean
that Pepe bag is looking pretty rough at the moment.
Pepe is so bad. My God. Okay, guys, Licky's here. Look at the upside. Look at this, 112,000 into 117 on the 1 week. So again, we've got build up to the upside. Are they going to come and try and take it out this weekend? Is there going to be a little bit of fun to the upside? I think we deserve it after being so abused. I think it would be reasonable if they give us 114 at the very least, but we'll have to play it by ear. Remember, myself and the hackers team are going to be trading live tomorrow. So whatever's happening, dumping, pumping, whatever, we're going to do a session, and we'll lock in an hour or so tomorrow, and we can see what we can catch, and whatever's happening, you guys will be taken care of. Okay, now let's get into the most important thing. Dad, what happened to him? He's been waiting for altcoin season. So yeah, I think this one is out the window. I think it's done. But in terms of altcoins, okay, we're seeing Bitcoin rejecting at its current resistance. But the nice thing, we can see Bitcoin dominance rejecting at resistance as well. And this is typically an area where the alts bounce or the alts show strength. So we want to see this rejection, and this will mean the altcoins are going to start outperforming us, or outperforming Bitcoin, and hopefully give us a little bit more, okay, to the upside. So this is a big area, 60.1. If we break through 60.1, it means dominance is showing strength. Put your eyes on Bitcoin. Make sure if it's breaking through there that Bitcoin is actually moving to the upside, because if dominance pumps and Bitcoin is rolling over, guys, these alts are going back down to their lows. Okay, it's very simple here. And Lord Drake, unfortunately not, so we postponed that one. We're gonna do it again next week. Okay, so we did have to kick the can down the road on that one, but it will be coming. Spot bags lost in history. Yeah, I mean, I see there's a lot of that going on in terms of USDT dominance. listened fairly well. Look at that. Yesterday, we were looking for this rejection into this band up here at this 5.2 zone. Nice little rejection. And you can see that is what gave us that pump in the market. So we had Bitcoin dropping, we had all these things happening, and then we had a nice little bounce. And you can see that in that USDT dominance rejection. So remember, a nice chart to track, nice chart to watch. 5.2%. That is what you guys need to be paying attention to. And then our shitcoin casino. Let's just take a look if we've got any victims here today. And I did have my eye on this ASR and Cerebro. I've been looking at. Ooh, we got a new entrant here, Velodrome. Haven't seen that in a while. This has just arrived, okay? And let's see which victims we have, because I did put together one or two. What have I got here? I've got ASR. Ooh. Here we go. Okay, so ASR. This was an interesting one. I've got 3 levels for you guys. And like, I want to see this ASR. Remember the rules of this thing. We want to be blowing up in this top region. So we're ticking this box. I like that. Number 2, we need to be hitting quite a big macro zone. We need to see some kind of confluence in an area. And for me, like, this is generally the zone, 2.05. But here's the problem. Okay, here's the problem. Look at this thing. There's a little bit of an undercarriage there. Okay, and this is causing a little bit of a problem for me as to confirming which is the level I like the most for the rejection. So you can see here, this is our macro zone, 2.06. You can try something small here. Okay, if we do push higher, okay, you've got a 10% move into your undercarriage, and then you might as well, for good measure, look for that wick into that 618. Okay, so these are the 2 big reaction zones here for me. If you want to play shitcoin casino, we've had a pretty good hit rate off these reaction zones. If I had to guess a zone, I would say, based on the strength of this thing, based on the single candle we're looking at here, there's going to be shorters coming in here now. There's a possibility that this thing pops into that region over there. So look out this undercarriage. Look out that 618, so 2.28. And in fact, it's probably worth, I'm going to lock in a little order here. Let's go to 𝗏𝗆𝗆 here. Let's go here and let's go. Oh, there's my dupe. I'm going to talk to you guys about dupe now as well. And you can see I've added to my BCH short, and you can see the Aave when entry from the Chart Hackers Discord that picked up both orders there yesterday. Let's look at ASR. Okay, it's this guy over here. Nice little 50% pump. Let's look at the zones. I'm going to put in a limit order. It's tempting, but I'm not doing it there. Let's go 2.25. Okay, I'm going to put in a small limit sell at 2.25. Remember, guys, you want to do this pretty low leverage. You don't want to go hard on these things. Okay, 2.25. And remember, these things can bleed out to the upside. They can push you another 10-15% easily. Okay, so make sure you have very wide stops if you're going to play these things. Make sure you are running low leverage, small size. Okay, so I'm going to try that one. And basically what we're looking for there, just a reminder, we're looking for this pump into that 618 and that rejection. Once you get that nice hard rejection, then you can add a little bit to it. Okay, so look for it to spike up, and then you want to see that rejection, and then just add little bits. And where can you exit? Where's a good zone to exit? Guys, look at this. Here's your 200-day moving average. You can see generally this is a big rejection zone, so you want to kind of highlight this guy over there. So that is a big rejection zone. So 2.46. So option number 1, if you close above 2.32, you can cut that. Option number 2, if you close above 2.47. Okay, so those are the big danger zones there for me. Watch those areas, play safe, small size, good luck. Okay, what's the next one here? Cerebro, and this could be a fun one, guys. 0.062 looks like an area here if you want to play the game. Remember, small size, don't get greedy, play this thing safe. Once they do collapse, then you can get decent dumps out of these guys. Okay, very small size. And if you are not familiar with trading cross accounts and things like that, make sure you have a stop, or make sure you are in an isolated position so that if it does blow up another 30-40%, it doesn't liquidate your account. You do not want to have that scenario. Okay, so there's another one there, 0.062. Look for that flush into that upside zone. Okay, enough shitcoin casino. Let's talk about the big dogs. And we've got Bitmine apparently buying the dip, another 166 million. And he's looking a bit nervous to me at the moment, I must say. I mean, that's a nervous looking picture. He's like, oh, fuck, what have I done? What if this goes lower? Are we in a bear market? If anyone lies in bed at 2 or 3 in the morning wondering if it's a bear market, maybe it's a guy with $1 billion worth of ETH. How much does he have? 4 billion. He's got something ridiculous. And AJ, guys, just be careful. Yeah, okay. I agree. This is a rejection zone, but like I'm worried about this undercarriage in the 618 here. Okay, really, just be careful up there. Okay, you can see if there's shorts are building here, they just pop it through and bang. Back into that zone. Okay, just be careful. Now, let's finish ETH. What's going on? Yesterday, capitulation in the market. Look at this. We had Bitcoin sitting on its 786. ETH was sitting just above that 618. What happens? Bitcoin drops into the 786 and they force the alts a little bit lower there, but it fortunately held this big zone. So in my decision-making process yesterday, when I was trying to make a decision, when you're under pressure, obviously, you got to zoom out and you got to look at your big levels. And all I did was look at this level and say, okay, I'm heavily underwater with ETH here. If I had just dry powder and I wasn't in a single position, and I found ETH in this zone yesterday in the current conditions that we were in, with Bitcoin close to the 786, oscillators 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour ridiculously oversold, would I enter, or would I at least start a new trade in that area? And the answer to that question was fuck yes. Okay, so why am I going to panic exit even if I am under pressure or am under a little bit of water? So what I did was I used that opportunity to add a little bit, and obviously messed around a little bit with this thing, but I got it up to $91,000 in size. Okay, and now basically get out of jail free card, and I am a little bit more in control of this position. Okay, so what I want to show you guys now is the couple of options that we might have to play this thing throughout the weekend, because let's not forget, Bitcoin's at resistance. There is a possibility they bring this thing all the way back down and they come and test these lows again this weekend. That is obviously on the table. So let's look at a couple of options here for us with ETH. Let's just try and be rational about what we're looking at and where we are at the moment. Okay, so we're going to take our VWAPs from the highs. Let's mark that out, bang. And then you're going to look for your fibs. And in conditions like this, you kind of want to look at 236, 382 fibs. You want to be, you want to be a little bit conservative. You don't want to look at these things and assume it's going to run to a 618. You can see immediately here that 382 is coming into play. So we can identify here that this is a rejection zone. If there is a second spike in ETH, what could happen here is a pump into the VWAP and then a rejection. So look out for that scenario. And obviously then you've got your levels higher up. So right now for me, in terms of what I'm watching, if ETH starts pushing through this type of region and starts holding here this weekend and flagging, like that'll give us another breakout trade here on ETH that we can try and ride up to these levels, 4,000. We can try and ride it back up to 4,1, 4,2, things like that. But right now, like ETH is actually at resistance. Let's take a look at our 4. That looks okay, but it looks like it might even do that. If it gives us a little dip here, we might see a little bit more downside on ETH. Let's go lower time frames here. Okay, and you can see this is failing a little bit here. It's not looking great at the moment. This thing is starting to lag. The thing in its favor at the moment, this 1 hour cash flow might be looking to turn up, but overall, that is not looking great to me. That's not exciting me. I want to see a strong looking push. So right now, a little bit of a mixed bag here on ETH at rejection. So now our next option is, okay, this thing might roll over a little bit. Where do we get a little bit more momentum if this thing is going to hold? So bulls, what do we want to see? We want to see these VWAPs hold. We want to see the 382 come into play, and that's in an ideal world. Okay, so zone number 1 here for ETH. If we start losing 3,800, that's probably an exit plan. Okay, for the bulls and for myself, that's probably where I start cutting some of this position. I obviously don't want to put myself negative 4,000 again on ETH, so I'm going to start trimming a little bit of that size there, and we'll deal with that one accordingly. So that is zone number 1 there, and that is your first sort of bull zone or your first bounce zone. Then if we do start bleeding lower, guys, you know the drill. You've got your 618, 3750. That is over there, bang. And then if they really get dirty this weekend, guys, it's the lows. They're going to come and take out those lows, or they're going to come and look at ETH again down there and make sure everyone is feeling nice and bearish at the time. Okay, so just remember your scenario right now. Resistance on altcoins, resistance on BTC. These are zones where you need to exercise a little bit of caution. Okay, let's talk SOL. SOL is at resistance. In fact, I'm actually going to close this one. There's a little SOL scalpy, not big, but let's close this one here. SOL's at resistance, so exiting there in case we're going to fall over. You can see I'm running a Trump short at the moment. I'm going to talk to you guys about that. I see hype is still flat. What do we got? SUI, we'll look at that now. Pump is flat. Let's see, anything else we should be taking off the table here? Virtual, I did clip a little bit this morning. Okay, we'll wait and see a little bit. We'll give it a little bit more time here, and we'll watch how we go. Okay, so let's go Sol. Now you can see Sol is at resistance. Interesting drop yesterday. 200-day MA came to the rescue, and again, same question. Okay, bears in the house. These are your short zones that you can play with if you're looking for possible rejections, possible head shorts, things like that. Here it is. 190 is your exit zone on Sol, and this thing could roll over. And then what you're expecting here, guys, is number one, a bullish bounce, okay, into the VWAP, into the 0.5382, something like that. So you want to see that type of level hold, bang over there, and you can see there's your bull zone number one. Okay, so scalpers, guys looking to add a little bit to their positions, that is your first reasonable zone you can use, 185 on Solana. Okay, so you can see rejection in play at resistance, 185 for the bulls, and then you can use your 618 a little bit lower down, 182, 183 could be your final saving grace there. Okay, so look out at that option. Where's my preferred short zone? Guys, it is higher up. It's higher up for Bitcoin. It's higher up for ETH. It's higher up for a lot of these altcoins. And for me, it's going to be a combo of this VWAP here and that 618 looking really good at 195 on Solana. Okay, so right now you can see falling over. Where's my high confidence play? There. Okay, we want to just see that extra little pop in the market. It feels a little bit too easy here at the moment for these things. Okay, let's look at Pump. Now, Pump is making a comeback after selling off ridiculously yesterday, and Pump.fun has now surpassed Tron in 24-hour revenue. Okay, so they did $1.4 million. I don't know where these guys come from, but anyway, they're on there again, buying shit coins, and Pump was a really nice short over the last couple of days, and that dropped us beautifully into our long zone. And I started that long yesterday on the show, and I still believe this area can hold. Okay, so I'm obviously bullish on this pump giving us some kind of move this weekend, and I've been adding little bits to the position. But again, if we drop into the zone here, 42, guys, that's a zone of interest. Look at that VWAP there. Look at the 0.5. Look at the horizontal. This is a good area here for me on this pump. If they do want to put you under a little bit more pressure, there's an exit zone, 397, that you guys can use. 397 is what you're going to be watching. But in terms of pump, it doesn't have to be a pump to new highs. It can literally just be a short-term little move. I mean, you can see this thing, even up here, it's 10%. If you push it up there, it's about 15 to 18%. On Pump, and it's still a perfect lower high. Like, totally happy if they want to send this thing up and then drop it down again for us. Okay, so looking for this bounce to play on Pump. I think it sold off like a hell of a lot yesterday. It was worse than some of these other alts, actually. I don't know why they picked on this one so much. And Ralph says the gold is dumping. That's interesting. Ralph, before I check the gold chart, just confirm for me, sir, that you aren't watching 1 minute candles. Just let me know. Okay, just let me know. Let me know. I need something substantial to pull out that gold chart. Okay. Okay, so guys, Pump 42. Look for a long here. Look for this area to hold. If they drop it lower, 397, and if they drop it lower, it prints you bullish divergence. Okay, so I like this on the 2 hour, and this might actually be my win entry for later on. Now, let's talk prediction markets. Let's talk longing the top at resistance. And Jupiter, for me, like, is this going to give it more money? Is this going to get a use case? I mean, are people going to use this? Or are they not using other prediction markets? Again, it's a question you need to ask when you want to play these things. But potentially, if this starts making tons of money for Jupe, they've got another revenue stream, and that could be bullish for the token. Okay, you can see Solana at the bottom here giving the eyes. But anyway, that is good stuff for Jupe. In terms of, you know, the higher time frame, let's just see where we are. This is from our higher time frame chart in the chart hackers that I update every Monday, and you can see Jupe moved into a typical rejection zone. So just looking at the simple higher time frame stuff, I gave you guys this rundown on the BCH chart yesterday. I gave you a little lesson on the 2 hour time frame, but look at that. They like to pump it back into the horizontal. They go back and visit in the range, and then they drop it down. Okay, so now this thing is rejecting, and the question you ask yourself is, if this thing stays bullish, it's the same old question. Do we get a bullish bounce, number one, and do we break back up and start printing new highs? So effectively, what you want to see is some kind of bounce here and then a new high up into that 200-day MA and then a possible rejection. So let's look at Jupe. Okay, let's see how wrecked we're getting here. And I bought the top negative 77. Let me take you through that potential trade and what I'm looking for here. And now, funnily, I said divergence is failing. Now it's just printed on that sell-off. Okay, so this is confirmed bearish zone now, but I'm going to stick with this trade here until we close under this VWAP. Okay, so what I'm looking for here is nibbling in the zone. Okay, so if we drop into this VWAP here, I'm going to add a little bit more. Let's see if Bitcoin wakes up now. The market's been open, 3 hours. They've had a pump in resistance. Let's see come the end of the session now in the US. Let's see if they wake up. Okay, so no, I'm not exiting this one just yet. And the possibility for me is a possible pop through 408. Then you're going to look for that rejection, and then you want to see the bulls come and step in. The real trade, remember, with these breakout trades, the real trade is that retest of the horizontal. If you are nibbling at resistance, you're taking small size, you're nibbling, you're speculating, you're letting that thing pop, and then you're letting it come back down. That is going to be the main trade. Okay, so right now, we just want to see it hold the VWAP. Let's look at our fibs. Let's see what our levels are just to confirm these zones. You want to see the 382 and the 0.5 as much as possible as the bull zone. So let's just highlight this for you guys. Okay, so there we go. This is our bull zone. We don't want to close underneath this. As simple as that. And you're looking for a bounce 3985 down to 395. That is going to be the zone you want to see this thing pop up. But right now, 30-minute chart, not looking good. Okay, this divergence is just printed right now and that reversal dot. So just be super cautious there. I'm cutting, close under this VWAP. I'm out of dupe. Okay, let's look at a couple of things like, let's go when entry. So guys, there's a channel in the Discord, okay, for those, obviously a lot of you know about this, but it's called when entry. Okay, so at the end of every show, what I do is I give you guys a setup, and I give you a TP, I give you a stop loss, I give you multiple TPs, and I explain to you how you can go about entering this one. So one of our victims yesterday was 𝗬𝗏, okay, looking for that zone, and lo and behold, it held the area, and it gave us a very nice bounce out the gates, and we got it to TP1. So guys, it's designed for the guys that are busy. It's designed for the guys that want to eliminate the noise, and you're looking for a simple setup every day that you can just check in and you say, oh, I agree with this or I don't agree, whatever, plug in the setup and then set your trade and go back about your business. So whatever you guys are up to. Okay, so right now you can see that played out well. We've hit our first TP zone. What are the options, guys? It's a tricky option now, because for me personally on this trade, I'd like to see higher, and I'm going to follow the exact same principle. We're going to bang out our bull zones over there, and we want to make sure these things start holding the bull zones. If they start cutting and they start losing these types of areas, well, then you need to decide how you want to play it. Like my average entry at the moment is 208. Okay, so I've got an average entry here of 208 at the moment. So I do have a little bit of breathing room, and we'll see how this thing goes. Okay, but I mean, I just followed the instructions. The instruction was ladder in multiple small entries, and my average entry is now 208. Okay, so ideally you want to hold that bull zone. Other than that, there's your support, 208, and the stop loss is close under 206. Let's take a look at these oscillators. See, rolling over, not looking great at the moment. That's not a good look for me at the moment. Let's see where this thing reverses. Okay, so right now, tracking bull zones on all of these coins. That's what we want to see, 0.5382. Then we figure it out after that. Let's pump something that's available on Bitfunded. Yeah, 𝗬𝗏 is not on Bitfunded, but there's tons of others. This was a mover yesterday. This Pay AI. Now, yesterday I spoke about this network, this X402, where these AI agents now do all the paying and all these types of things. And it's like the latest narrative. And there was a couple of tweets floating around yesterday where guys were speculating on what tokens could make sense. I found this one on one of the tweets. I think it was a 20 million market cap or whatever the story was. Anyway, this thing looked like it was forming a base, and it's had a fairly good pump off those lows. It was 56% there at one point. Okay, so that was a decent move for anyone that got that. 31%, 36% there, 55% there. So this thing could potentially do stuff, Pay AI, and there's a couple of levels there to the upside, 45, things like that. So seems to be, if you like the narrative, well, there you go. And JBH seems to like Pay AI. Okay, shitcoin time. Yes, it is shitcoin time. Isn't it always shitcoin time, guys? Come on. And PMG George wants to go to zero. Okay, he's shorting grass on 200x. Don't let the market maker know, bro. They're going to come for you there. Okay, let's get into the shitcoins. Let's go. So earlier today, I took profit on the hackers Zoom with the hackers community on virtual after what was really a strong pump after putting us under serious pressure yesterday. Look at that. They dropped it below that 786 fib and for quite a big rejection. And I just want to show you guys again, simple rejection zones. Everyone that's watching the show is capable of figuring these areas out. Look at that. VWAP from the highs, 0.5, undercarriage, little visit into the range and drop. Okay, so down comes virtual, and now we got to see, is this thing going to hold the bull zone? So simple game plan. Here's your 1 hour time frame. What could play out here? Number one is you could get a reversal in virtual over the next couple of hours, does something like that, and the price actually spikes up and prints a new high, and then it drops. Okay, so that is option number one. Or option number two is they just give you the easy route and they just send it straight down. Okay, and that's the easiest play generally. So let's see if virtual is going to hold some zones. Anybody still holding on to virtual? What are your bull zones? What are you looking for? So exactly the same principle, guys. You go low to high and you're looking for your 382, your 0.5. You want to see confluence with order blocks. You want to see VWAPs in these zones, and that generally builds you a possible bounce zone. Okay, so there's your first bounce zone here on virtual. There's your VWAP and 0.5. Look at that in that area, and looking for that one to hold. That should hopefully, if it holds, send you to this next potential high. Okay, if it does start going lower, guys, you know the drill. You start hunting 618s. You start looking at other levels of confluence lower down, and you want to tie that in to the oscillator that is preferably bottoming out. Remember, some of our best trades are short at divergence, at resistance, when you see reversals. So shorts on reversals, and you look for longs or bounces on reversals on support as well. Okay, remember that. And PMG wants to send virtual to hell, and he's all in short on that shade. that is the daddy. In fact, Enough and I was telling us, he says that's the daddy of these AI agents. Just be careful. Just be careful. But in terms of the rejection zone, you there, guys. We like nailed that rejection zone this morning. 1.446. There it was. That VWAP zone. Okay, so remember, typically you hit these resistance zones. Look for those rejections, and if you get the reversal print, things looking good. Okay, so support here for virtual 1335. Okay, 1335. Look for a bounce here in that region. If it fails, this is your inverse undercarriage. Look at that over there, 1285. Okay, after that, guys, the best I can give you is talk shit about Jerome Powell. And Mia wants to short Velodrome. Has that been ripping, Mia? Let's see. Oh, this ASR still playing games. Let's look at Velodrome. Do we have perps on this? Ooh, okay. I see where you're going. It looks exactly the same as this ASR. Look at that. 50-day MA and the 200-day a little bit higher up. Look at that. Okay, let's look for some order blocks here. Yeah, it's not Mia. It's not bad. It's not bad, yeah. See if we got some. Other ammo up here. Okay, you see that undercarriage there, guys? You see that over there? Okay, look here. If you want to test this thing, look at that. Okay, and you got a whole lot of order blocks. Okay, this looks really nice. Okay, so if this thing pops through this region, okay, look at that. You got double order blocks. You got the 100-day, you got the 200-day MA. This is a high probability rejection zone up here. Okay, so look for that spike through that area, something like that. It could get pretty fun. Okay, but it could be a hard pumper. So be prepared to get put under pressure. Look at that undercarriage. Look at these areas over here. So anything from 44.3 into about 49, 44.3 into about 49, it's going to be a fight. Okay, there's going to be a big fight up there. That's a lot going on in terms of resistance in that zone. Remember, guys, sizing. Okay, you don't go too big, you go very wide stops, you let it breathe, and you don't go big leverage. Okay, otherwise you can feel yourself a little bit of pain. Okay, so Mia, I like it up here. Okay, so 44.3 into this 48.49. Okay, looks pretty good up there for me. Okay, let's go Let's go, Brett. Okay. Also, interesting one. Put us under pressure yesterday. Hung on to that thing. Okay. What did it do? It eventually reversed with BTC. And what I can say to you guys is we've seen Brett outperform over the last couple of days with base and aerodrome and things like that. Now, resistance. Look at that. Here's your trend resistance in that region. And this is a typical rejection zone. And the same question, as always, are the bulls going to step in? If the bulls are going to step in, guys, you want to hold 263 down to 258. 263 to 258. Look for that area to hold. No changes, in fact, for this long tool for me on Brett. Okay, this could be healthy, a little dip here into the US market close or whatever, and then a bit of a pump this weekend. So that could really make sense, guys. Something like that into this weekend. Take out those candles on Brett. I'm not against this as a potential bouncer. So anything from this VWAP here, 265, and then you've got this big horizontal. Look at this big zone over here. So you can push it to like 2.6. Okay, in that region. Give that a go. Okay, not the worst. I think I'm going to hold on to my Brett position, and let's see if we can add. I just want to see what my entry is here. My entry is 2695. Okay, so wait, no, my entry is 26 on the button. Okay, so that'll take me to basically back to entry. Look to add again. If that fails, then I'm going to cut some of that position. Okay, let's see what else we are going here. Ether's making a bit of a comeback. Let's see. Trump is still flat. Hype still flat. Okay, 𝗬𝗆. Let's go. Let's give you guys some shorts and things like that. Big short zone for me on 𝗬𝗆, guys. Now remember, there's an unlock at the moment, right? James, it's happening today. Well, it's happening later on today. It's a big unlock on 𝗬𝗆. And again, the question is, do you take the easy route? Is it so easy that you can just come and short 𝗬𝗆 at the 382? Or do you have to let it pump, take out a couple of bears, and then catch the short on the VWAP? So depends how you guys want to play this. For me, the high conviction short on 𝗬𝗆 has got to be this trend, this VWAP, this 0.5. So for me, 2.46. If you get a weekend pump here into that VWAP, this could be a very big danger zone for you guys. Okay, 2.46, guys. That is my exit plan there on 𝗬𝗆. That looks like a beautiful rejection zone. Okay, so that's a nice short one. If you want to, guys, if you want to take on risk, I don't have high conviction here just yet, because I just think, I think with the liquidity and I think with Bitcoin, this thing could push a bit higher than 2%. But if you want to have a crack here, that 2.4 is going to be your exit plan. So if you exit above, if you get a candle close above 2.4, that could be your exit plan on this short over there. Okay, sorry, let me just highlight this. Okay, so your risk will be try and catch it high, but your risk will be about 1%, give or take, and then we don't know obviously how deep they can take you there on that one. Okay, but I like 2.46, and he's selling my spot bag of 𝗬𝗆. Yeah, I mean, it's a good exit play. It's a nice exit zone. Let's talk about shitcoins, guys. Look at this XRP. Okay, here's an XRP short. Okay, and Marek says 𝗬𝗆 2.46 short. Yes, correct. I like that a lot. Okay, look at XRP. What have we got here? We got a rising trend. Okay, rising trend. Cool. What happened? We lost the rising trend. We're pumping back up to retest. Okay, you tell me that's not a typical short zone for a token. Okay, so XRP, guys, high conviction short zones for me, 2.575, and then I've got 2.62. Both of them look incredible. Let me show you something quickly. If you want to try and get your head around a short, if this was a long opportunity and you looked at this thing, James, where would you long this thing? Where would you long this thing? James is nodding.
The high confluence banger there.
The high confluence banger, correct. Okay, so you'd look for a long here, 2.57, or you'd look for a long here at 2.62. Okay, you guys see the picture. We would be licking our lips if this was dropping into that zone. So let's flip it back over. Bang. Okay, that is why this looks bearish to me on XRP. Okay, so short opportunities here. You can go degen, where you're going 1% risk. Okay, or you can go slightly more aggressive in terms of risk profile. Yeah, 3%, give it breathing room, and maybe that's the one that sends XRP to zero. You never know. Maybe XRP shut their doors and it's over. You know what I mean? And James would love that. Okay, James would absolutely love that. So if you want to have fun with the XRP shorting sporting, these are the zones: 2575, 262, 263, That looks nice to me for XRP. Why not the top of the trend line? Which top of the trend line? I don't like trends as much as I like horizontal confluence. Okay, but if you want to say areas in general, yeah, like you can see there's a trend rejection, trend resistance, whatever, those types of things. What I prefer, my order of preference is fibs, VWAPs, order blocks, and big horizontals, 4-hour, 8-hour daily levels, those types of things. That is my preferred. And then you throw in trends and things like that. And obviously you put in the secret sauce, which is the oscillator. Okay, so ideally, you want to see this oscillator really flipping over at the right rejection zone. I want to see this type of thing on the oscillators at resistance, okay, at big resistance zones. That makes sense to me. That gives me that confidence to take a position. They have too much supply to still dump, to let it go to zero. Yeah, I mean,
true. They have a monstrous amount of supply, and they're about to have an unlock too.
Can't wait for the XRP unlock, folks. They must send it to zero. Okay, looking forward to that, guys. There's a lot of chat about me with the oscillators, okay, and the indicators. Remember, you can now buy these indicators directly off the show, and you can still have access to my accelerator course for the TA. Okay, so what you can do is you can go into the show link. Okay, and you can go into, let me just show you where it is. You go into the show link, you click on more, okay, and you're going to find everything I talk about here, from the Chart Hackers Discord to the indicators that are available, to the accelerator course, to all the exchanges that I trade on. Everything is here underneath the show for you guys. Now, remember, if you are a Chart Hackers member, you're going to get these indicators for $49, okay? If you are buying it off the show and you're not a Chart Hackers member, obviously you can get the indicators, but they are $69, okay? There it is. It's the Hot Zones Pro, which is basically the shortcut to putting out a VWAP, fibs, order block confluence, things like that for you, and it gives you a sign. It gives you a flame or an eggplant if you need to go long or short. It tells you what to do. Then you've got the orb, the open range breakout. You've got the prime levels that some of our team are using in the Chart Hackers Discord for their scalping. Remember, we got guys trading the gold, we got guys trading the Nasdaq and stuff as well in the Chart Hackers Discord. Then we've got the order blocks, we've got the oscillator, and we've got trendy, which basically tells you when to buy and when to sell in a trend. And we've got the point of control coming in for you guys as well. Okay, so that is all there. And add J Power portrait on the background. That is a good point. That is a very good point. Tether reports 10 billion profits Q1 to Q3. Well, at least someone's printing, literally and figuratively or whatever. Okay, let's go. Let's finish the shitcoin casino, guys. We had 57 minutes. Why does everyone hate XRP? I think because XRP was like the first real thing that basically got everyone interested in crypto, the way that pumped. And I think there's a lot of joy in watching it go to zero.
You know what else has created a ton of hate towards it? I mean, lots of people have hated it for a long time, but it's hated even more now than it's ever been, because tons of people, like you said, believed in it back then. They bought the shit, they held it for years, and then dumped it. And now it's like 6 or 7x from where they would have bought it, or 10x or whatever, because they bought it at 20 cents, held it for 4 years, sold it at 40 cents, and now it's $3. And they hate it even more after holding for so long, and then it flies.
That was a grind. Yeah. That was a grind. Like, we've watched like XRP stay flat for so long, while things like Sol went from like $8 to fucking 250, even at AVAX at like $40, whatever. And
that
XRP
SEC lawsuit killed it for the entire. It ruined it last cycle. It left it at zero this entire time, and then it takes off after everyone capitulated to chase the shiny objects. There's lots of reason to hate there.
Well, there you go. I just like, I don't know. I think also like the XRP community are quite passionate about XRP. So I do get a little bit of enjoyment at the opportunity to short it. I mean, okay, well, it's fun. Okay. Let's talk 𝗨𝗪𝗪. This thing's been crazy. Now we've got a 𝗨𝗪𝗪 halving coming in December, beginning of December. It's actually big news. It's actually really bullish for it. But what I can assume is these types of situations, it obviously gets priced in. A lot of it gets priced in by the time the event actually comes. Now, let's not think like it can be priced in already at the end of October when we've got 30 days to go before this event. But looking at the chart, trying to be as objective as possible here, like, cool, we're pumping through a big area. But if we spike this weekend, like, those of you that want to be brave and you want to have a crack, like, I'll have a dip at this guy, and maybe we even catch it tomorrow if there's a spike this weekend. But there could be a little short opportunity here. Now, this makes sense to me. It's the 618 macro, and it's also this little undercarriage. So 523 into 542, guys, for 𝗨. Even a short-term dip on this thing could be a little bit fun, okay? And you can see we're going to print more divergence here on this thing. The higher it goes, the more divergence we're going to get again. And let's see, maybe we get a little wick into 525, 540, and that gives us some kind of short there. 𝗨𝗏 single-handedly saved my account, dude. It's the best. It's the absolute best. It was like virtual for me today. Came out of like the grave basically yesterday, and also came to the rescue, guys. It's just, yeah, when you find one or two and it's your day, and you look at these things and they're ripping, it's always a bonus, always an absolute bonus.
Yes. You heard Dave talking about there's this big Link conference next week, and he's been positioning for that.
Yes.
Request for Link here.
So we can take a quick look. Yeah, guys, obviously, in a conference, you get all sorts of things happening, but generally, there's generally bullish talk and things like that, and you can often find that you get a little bit of a pump in and around these things, okay? And you can see Link has actually been pretty quiet lately, okay? Look at that. It's in a super tight range here. Look at this 4 hour, for example. This is super tight here at the moment. So let's get a clean chart. Let's just try and understand what's going on. Now, you can see we've got a beautiful reversal print here for Link, okay? So that looks nice. Okay, if we get a little dip here, we probably get some kind of reversal, some kind of divergence here on the 4 hour. So what I would say, if you're trying to position yourself or whatever, now I haven't seen Dave's charts or whatever, but you can see this is your big support, 16.2 that you're going to be using. Use that, okay? So if you do dip into that zone, probably a good area to add, especially if you're trying to grow a position, whatever. And then if this thing pumps, you can see we're in a bit of a range here. So you probably get a beautiful short later on. Okay, and there's going to be a couple of short options here for you, but the first one that makes sense obviously is going to be that. Okay, you can see that region, the 50-day, the 100-day, and then there's a nice little undercarriage over there. Also makes a load of sense to me as upside targets. Okay, so yeah, I wouldn't get overly bullish on it, but these are pretty reasonable targets to take place over the course of a conference or whatever. Especially if there is some bullish momentum next week, with 25% move on this thing. Okay, I wouldn't sneeze at that. It could be fun, and it could also give the market a little bit more sentiment out there. Okay, so if you get a dip this weekend, guys, yeah, I mean, I fully agree here. Buy down here. If you get a dip this weekend, get some buys in, and that could be a really nice play for this Link conference. Okay, I can't believe I'm in Link. Shame. Oh, I mean, guys, we all do dumb shit. Let's talk BCH. Now, I know some of the guys were saying today BCH is actually one of the hardest ones to short because it can be so volatile. But I used this as an example yesterday, and you can see it's fighting back at the moment. But what we want to see, remember the rules: when you lose a nice level like that, they tend to come back, retest in the zone, and then they drop it back down. Obviously BCH was a little bit exaggerated, but now my second short order has picked up on this guy. So what is my current plan for BCH? Well, for me, I'm going to watch the high of that wick. Okay, that is zone number 1, and then we've obviously got the extreme highs at 578. So let's just check my average entry here. Average entry is sitting at 566. Okay, so my average entry is 566. Let's see where that is. Yeah, that's quite nice. Okay, so nice exit plan is a close above that wick, so say 569, or alternatively a close above the highs at about 576, give or take. AJ, you see, this is the thing about crypto. Everyone's got something they fucking hate, and they just want to short it and get it right. And everyone has got a token that has abused them, and they've got PTSD from it. Everyone's got it. There's one guy in our group in the hackers, he's hating 𝗬𝗎 at the moment because he got absolutely rinsed. I've got PTSD from Brett and Popcat, actually. Absolutely smashed me about a year ago, actually. It was about a year ago. And BCH coin. Yeah, okay, so guys, I'm short BCH. I'm short Trump. Okay, so yeah, this is the plan. Trump's looking nice and bearish here, guys. I have added a little bit to this thing. It is looking bearish. Hopefully we get a dump here on this thing. Unfortunately, it might mean the whole market rolls over. Okay, I don't trade Trump much, but I assume if the market starts falling over, Trump will fall over with it or whatever. So I suppose it's a bittersweet situation. But yeah, you can see I'm trying to build a short. They've already had a sweep there to the upside, and exit play for me: close above 8255, or you can close above the wick high at, say, 835. Okay, so give yourself enough space. That's about 2.5% risk at the moment. If it falls over, could be a nice move. Let's see all the way. Let's send it all the way down to 0. No, just kidding. I don't think Uncle Donald would let that happen. But we go 4%, 6%, 8%, give or take, on this Trump. And let's see what happens after that. Okay, guys, that's a wrap from me. Happy Halloween. PTSD on virtual, says Matt. Can't believe Popcat bro. I can't believe Popcat got to 2. I mean, I think it's like 12 cents now, or 14 cents. I mean, like, absolute destruction. James, are you still holding bags of Popcat?
No Popcat. I got some other shit, but that's one I didn't hold on to. But I remember when we were trading that around $1. And when it popped $1, I was in a trade that went from $1 up to whatever $1.80 and got huge, monstrous, stupid P&L on that thing. It was just insane. Yeah, and now almost 0. It's crazy.
Okay, so yeah, James, anything you'd like to part
Good luck,
ways?
everyone. Don't get too spooked this weekend. Might
Don't
be
you
some
think
spooky markets in the month.
James goes green shirt and the market starts rejecting.
Uh-oh.
Okay, guys, what I suggest is, if you're unsure, I've shown you a lot of altcoins and Bitcoin. They're sitting at resistance zones, okay? If you're unsure, crack out a few hedge shorts, okay? Let some of these little shorts play out. The bulls, you're looking for your bull zones. It's your VWAPs, your 382, your 0.5 zones. Look for those areas, okay? Look for the bounces. That doesn't mean we have to go straight to 0 here on these things. Look for these areas to hold. And good luck, okay? Pump, I like pump here, guys. I'm going to add to this one if we dip into that zone. ETH, I'm probably going to trim a little bit if we start losing levels on ETH. But you can see for now, ETH is holding, okay? So going to track that stuff. But we'll be live trading tomorrow on this channel. So we'll see you there, no matter what's happening, okay? See you later. Have a good weekend and happy Halloween. Later, guys.